She didn't steal. She chose love. Helen had never been inside a police station before, not once in her 87 years of life. Her hands trembled as cold metal cuffs rested on her thin wrists. They were too heavy, too cruel. Her pale blouse was wrinkled. Her gray hair fell loosely around her tired face. She looked smaller than she already was. The police car door slammed shut. Helen flinched. In a whisper so quiet it almost disappeared, she said, "I was just trying to save my husband." Helen and George had been married for 65 years, 65 long years of shared breakfasts, shared prayers, and shared silence. They met when they were young, back when dreams were big and bodies were strong. Now George was 88, and his heart was failing. Every breath sounded like a fight, slow, painful. Doctors said the medicine was not optional. Without it, his heart could stop at any moment. Helen knew that. She remembered every pill, every time, every hour. They lived on a small pension. Not much, but they made it work. They counted every dollar, sometimes every cent. They never complained. They never asked for help. They believed in dignity. Then one day a letter arrived. Their extra health insurance had ended. The cost was too high. They could no longer afford it. Helen read the letter 3 times, hoping she was wrong. She wasn't. She folded it neatly and placed it in a drawer. She didn't tell George. She didn't want to scare him. She thought, "We will manage somehow." A week later, George's medicine ran out. Helen put on her old coat and walked slowly to the pharmacy. She held the prescription tightly in her hand, like a fragile promise. She stood at the counter. The pharmacist typed into the computer and looked up. "That will be $940? Helen blinked. "I'm sorry," she said softly. "Did you say 940? "Yes, ma'am." Her mouth went dry. "Last time it was $50. The pharmacist nodded. "Your insurance is no longer active." Helen felt the room spin. "I don't have that kind of money." "I'm sorry," the pharmacist said. "I can't help you." Helen nodded slowly. She picked up her purse and walked out empty-handed. That night, George couldn't sleep. His breathing was shallow. His chest rose and fell like he was struggling underwater. Helen sat beside him. She held his hand. "I'm here," she whispered. For 3 days, she watched him fade. He gasped for air. He coughed. He whispered her name. "Helen, I can't breathe." She prayed. She cried. She blamed herself. On the 3rd night, George looked at her and said, "It's okay if I go." Helen shook her head. "No, not today. Not like this." Something inside her broke. The next morning, Helen went back to the pharmacy. Her heart raced. Her hands shook. The pharmacist turned his back to check a shelf. Helen looked at the medicine. She thought of George's face. She thought of 65 years of love. She reached out and slipped the medicine into her pocket. She didn't run. She didn't hide. She walked. She almost reached the door. "Ma'am, stop." Police arrived. Someone said the word robbery. Helen didn't understand. Her blood pressure rose. Her body collapsed. An ambulance took her away, still in handcuffs. The next morning, Helen stood in court, weak, pale, still wearing the same thin blouse. The judge read the file, then looked up and froze. "I didn't know what else to do," Helen said. "He was dying." The courtroom was silent. The judge removed his glasses. "Remove those chains." The officer hesitated. "Now!" The judge stood. "This woman is not a criminal," he said. "Our system failed her." "All charges are dismissed," he continued, "and I order immediate assistance for both Helen and George." Tears streamed down Helen's face, not from fear, from relief. That day, Helen went home. George received his medicine. His breathing eased. They held hands. Because sometimes the real crime is not stealing medicine. The real crime is forcing love to choose between survival and the law. And when a society forgets compassion, it is not the poor who fail. It is the system. Moral of the story. Sometimes the law judges actions, but love explains them. When a person is forced to choose between rules and saving a life, the real failure is not the heart that breaks the rule, but the system that breaks the heart. True justice is not found in punishment, but in compassion. Choose kindness, always.
Because every heart needs a gentle reminder. Subscribe for more moral stories. Moral Storyland Official.